Hello, angels, beautiful angels. Welcome to my love letter to the world. My name is Iman Celine. I am your host, and I'm so excited for today's topic. It is a fun one. There is so much that I have to share. So let's just get right into it, shall we? Roll the clip. Okay, so as you can tell by the title, today we're going to be talking about cultivating true innate confidence, the confidence from the depths of your soul. And I definitely have some ways to go on this journey. I do, and I'm continuing to build that within myself in different areas of my life. But I've also come a very, very, very long way on this journey as well, and I have so many nuggets to share. And I'm so excited to get into it because a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about today are just like tangible. You know, it's going to feel like attainable, like, hey, I can actually cultivate this within myself. That's kind of what I'm hoping you guys feel after watching this episode. I got my handy dandy notes over here, and I have a lot of notes on this topic. Okay, like this is literally a love letter to the world. It's a long ass love letter, but a handwritten letter nonetheless. Oh my god, do you guys remember that episode of Friends where Rachel writes Ross like an 18-page letter front and back? It's literally giving that. But this is going to be a lot more fun than that letter, I promise. So let's just get into it. There are a couple things that I want to touch on. The very first point that I want to make is that I will be focusing on two different types of confidence, okay? Internal confidence and external confidence. It is pretty self-explanatory. I will dive into each one deeper because I think both are very, very important, okay? I don't think you should have only one without the other. I truly feel like internal confidence it's kind of the leg that you have to stand on. And what I mean by that is that it's built on things that no one can take away from you. That would include things like your character, the level of self-trust that you have, or self-reliance, the ability to be yourself unapologetically, how you respond to your fears. So these are things that no one can take away and that you can't really lose. You know, things like your heart, your brain, the level of knowledge, of education that you have, the way that you carry yourself, the level of respect that you have for other people, for yourself. It's literally just who you are without the money, the looks, the wardrobe, like the sexy boyfriend, the sexy girlfriend, without the status of it all, which is more external, which we are going to touch on, by the way. When you take all that away, because that stuff, the truth is it can be taken away and it can change at any moment. It's not really the leg that you have to stand on. If that's what you have to show for, that's great. And it might give you credibility and outwardly people might trust you. But the minute that those things change, and they do, trust me, because life can be chaotic, right? Life does its thing and things change. Things change externally. How you carry yourself beyond that is what will really speak to your true confidence. How you treat other people, like I said, how you treat yourself. Are you a dependable person? Do you face your fears? Are you self-assured? Do you face yourself? Do you face your demons, your shadows, or do you hide from them? Do you take ownership when you go wrong? Are you an honest person? These are all of the things that feed into that true internal confidence. And the external, as I mentioned, again, pretty self-explanatory, but the external is more so what you have to show for. It's important because it's how you build trust with other people. For example, a fitness trainer would be more credible if they're physically fit, and they might draw their confidence from their physique, but it also makes them more credible to the external world. Even though there's an element of proving yourself when it comes to this, it doesn't define you, but I view it more as an extension of the beautiful person that already exists within. It's just like an outward extension. It's also a form of self-love to pour into your external self because you truly do deserve it, right? And a lot of the things that we do to build ourselves externally, we do them to feel good because we deserve to be seen. We want to be seen by the world. We deserve to be seen. It's not superficial to care about how you look. It's not superficial to care about how you present yourself. It's not unnecessary or pretentious, to build your network, to grow your finances. And it's not a waste of time to pursue a higher education or a passion, right? These are all things that also make us who we are. And like I said, are an extension of what exists within. When you do these things, you're really showing yourself that you're worth the time, you're worth the money, you're worth the energy, you're worth the effort, whether it be towards your physical appearance, your bank account, your quality of life, your home or your physical environment, your level of education. You're showing yourself as well that you're worth putting all of this energy, effort, time into. And that's why it is just as important to have that external confidence as well. But again, it can be a very tricky line because if that's all you have and internally you're crumbling and you don't actually have a leg to stand on, those things, they can change in an instant, right? Like you could be a successful business owner, make one bad decision and go bankrupt. It could be anything. Even I think about this often, especially when I think about my journey with my body image. Your body image fluctuates. I see women who lose confidence after having a baby because their body changes, right? And I love when I see those moms that bounce back. These things will shake us a little bit, but it shouldn't completely break your entire sense of self. Anyways, now let's just dive into cultivating these two things. Now that I've kind of touched on what the internal is, what the external is, we're going to start with the internal. Okay, so the first and foremost thing that you need to do to build internal confidence is to let go of the need to prove yourself to other people. It's the ability to be vulnerable without giving it too much power. For example, over explaining, lying, or hiding about something. You should be able to face people and express yourself and express your vulnerability without over explaining, especially over explaining. That is literally a sign of you feeling like you need to prove yourself because you're not enough. And now this thing in your life has changed and you have to explain to such and such person. This literally has happened to me before when I was going through a breakup. I met someone at an event and at that time I had moved back home and they were like, oh, didn't you live downtown? You moved back home. And could have just been oh yeah, just things changed. I was with my partner and we kind of went through a breakup. It just made sense to move home. It doesn't have to be a whole ramble. Even that might be too much explaining, but that's very chill and relaxed. I, at the time, was very shaky when it came to my confidence and I started rambling on and on about oh my God, yeah, I actually went through a breakup. It was I was unsure. I was giving that energy of I'm unsure about myself. And you guys know what I'm talking about. It's when someone downplays themselves, they might be comfortable in their vulnerability, but it's a little bit too much. Why are you going out of your way to explain? So again, you have to find the balance of yeah, I can face you and I can tell you what's going on in my life, but I don't owe you an explanation. I don't have to prove anything to you. And in the same vein, I know someone who would chronically lie about the things going on in their life. So there was a person who I know that got let go, but they told people that they quit their job. Or if they went through a breakup, it's the story would be a little bit different based on what made them look better. And to me, that is a sign of poor confidence as well, because you don't own what happens in your life. You don't have the ability to just be vulnerable and to just drop the shield. And this is life. Things happen. Sometimes we get dumped. Sometimes we get let go. Both things have happened to me, by the way, guys, just so you know. And I'm still standing here looking hot as ever. So it's okay. It's life. These things happen and we don't need to hide or shy away from them. It's just a matter of picking yourself up, learning, dusting off, and moving along with your life. No need to over-explain. And that means that you have to be okay with being misunderstood, with being disliked. Not everyone will like you. That's okay. That's a good thing. It means you're being authentic. And besides, not everyone has good taste, baby boo. Just kidding. But I'm just saying, that was something I really struggled with as well, which was if I'm truly me, people won't like me, but who the hell cares? I would rather be disliked for who I am than liked for who I'm not. and being okay with being misunderstood, being okay with being judged. If someone's going to judge me because, for example, I got let go or I got dumped or whatever, whatever the scenario is, that's okay. They're not the person I need to prove myself to. They don't know me. They don't know, my brain. They don't know the inner workings of my life. And that's okay. It's okay to be misunderstood. So it's really getting comfortable with that idea. And it takes a lot of discomfort at first. And once you're aware that you might have this pattern of like this fear of being misunderstood, fear of being judged, you kind of have to push yourself slowly to be in scenarios where you might be judged and misunderstood, and then just like bite your tongue when you're about to over explain and see what happens. If you hold back, you're going to feel uncomfortable, right? But maybe you'll feel a little bit more empowered that, hey, I didn't have to give so much of my energy trying to prove myself. And it takes time and it takes practice. And it takes, again, sitting through these uncomfortable feelings in plenty of scenarios, but you will eventually get there if you make that conscious effort. And another thing is stop apologizing for every little thing. Like, people just apologize for every little thing. I'm also guilty of doing this sometimes. You don't need to apologize, unless you actually do something wrong and you feel genuinely sorry. But if you think that you're inconveniencing someone when you really don't feel like you are, but you're worried that they're going to feel inconvenienced, so you apologize, like, just relax, simmer down, take a chill pill, okay? I think it's easy for me to say this now because I've come a long way, but do you know how many versions of me have existed? How many that I'm not proud of? How many versions of me I look back on and I'm like, OMG, like, that girl had some serious work to do. It's a matter of learning how to forgive yourself through, those moments that maybe weren't your best, shiniest moments. Self-forgiveness, and then you get up, you dust off, and you keep it moving. And I think ultimately that self-forgiveness will help you with those over-explaining or over-apologizing tendencies, right? Like, if you are okay with who you are and if you accept who you are and where you are, the world won't have a choice but to also be okay with and accept who you are. That is the truth. So it really starts with self-forgiveness, which will lead to self-acceptance, and then will naturally lead to you not feeling the need to over-explain, and then will naturally lead to people also having to just accept who you are, whether they like it or not. The next thing I have here on how to cultivate your inner confidence is to draw your boundaries. You should not have to make other people comfortable if it's at the expense of your comfort. When you draw boundaries, that is how people learn how to treat you. And when you're firm with your boundaries, if you are a fun person and if you're one of those people that's like very laid back and you want to just be chill and like outgoing and fun and friendly, those boundaries are even more important because people will take advantage of that chill personality if they don't know any better, right? When boundaries are not known, they will be crossed. And that's kind of why you have to get clear on what your boundaries are and to be firm with them. You can use your feelings as a compass. Sometimes we don't even know what our boundaries are until they've been crossed, and it's kind of like, oh, I really didn't like that, which means the next time around, I'm not going to put up with that type of comment. I'm going to say something back. I'm going to stand up for myself. It might happen where you don't even realize you had that boundary, but that's when you use those feelings as a compass in that way. So you have to get clear on what your boundaries are and make sure that you respect them too. Because here's the thing, like, if you have a boundary and someone crosses it and you don't do anything to uphold your boundary or to clarify it or to make it known, you're basically breaking your own boundary with yourself. That takes away from your sense of self-respect. When you allow other people to disrespect you, you are actually disrespecting yourself. Again, it might be uncomfortable, but it's just what it is. And I have like a little example about this. I mean, I have so many examples, but one super chill one that comes to mind is, I remember once I was in a very like disciplined phase of my life. I was waking up very early. I was sleeping early, and I wasn't really in a phase where I cared to like socialize or whatever. I was very focused on myself, and that was my number one priority. And during that time, I had someone reach out to me. It was an old friend, and we were chatting for like a few minutes online, and she was like, we should catch up. And I was open. I'm like, I don't mind. She's like, let's do dinner. Like, how about dinner on Tuesday, for example? And I was like, I don't mind, but it has to be a bit early because I'm going to bed early. That might not make sense to some people. Like, honestly, it might not. And I think at first she took it the wrong way. She was like, oh, well, if you don't want to go, we don't have to, LOL. Something like that. And I was like, I'm just letting you know that I'm open to it during this window. That's it. So this is the crazy thing. That conversation was also the first time that I was even practicing doing something like that, because typically I would be like, oh my God, no, of course I want to go. Sure, I'll clear my schedule. But that's just not the phase of life I was in. I didn't want to clear my schedule. I wanted to go to bed at a certain time, and I made that clear. And guess what, guys? It made me super uncomfortable, especially when she responded, like, kind of taking it the wrong way. It made me super uncomfortable. I actually started to feel anxious. Like, my heart was, like, racing a little. This is not a normal pattern for me. That's just not what my nervous system was used to. So I was trying something new, which was really good. And it made me very uncomfortable, but I, again, stood firm on it. And lo and behold, ended up grabbing dinner, came home at a decent hour, went to bed at the time that I wanted to go to bed. So it really worked out for me because I didn't want to show myself that, like, I'm willing to give up things that I don't actually want to give up just for someone else to feel more comfortable. And the other point of my story is just to say that it was uncomfortable to uphold that. But again, that goes away with practice, right? Like, as you become more strong in your sense of self, you will feel more rooted in just upholding those boundaries. And I will say, it's been a journey for me, right? Like, I've been put in new environments where I struggled with it again. And I had to remind myself again that, like, okay, I need to uphold these boundaries and I need to stand up for myself even more in certain scenarios, right? So you will be put in situations where you're gonna be tested, and it's gonna come down to, like, how much you respect yourself over the comfort of other people. All right, so the third thing on this list, which I actually really like this point, it is making promises and keeping them. This goes for both yourself and other people. Said you're going to go to the gym, go. Said you're going to go on a walk today, go. Said you're going to do your laundry, do it. When you do this, you build self-trust and reliance. The more you do these things, the more you can depend on yourself, the more that you believe in your abilities. By the way, guys, you should do things that you feel like you can do. So it's okay to start small. It could be like doing a small habit, like making your bed in the morning, small tasks, small chores, and then letting it snowball. Because it has to start with just building trust within yourself. And if you do feel like the promises that you're making to yourself are too big, it might deter you, because then you end up overwhelmed and you might feel like you can't do it. The issue with that then is that you lose your sense of self-trust and you end up creating like a bad track record, right? So the goal here is to like have a track record of being a reliable, dependable person to yourself. That's what will give you this I can do it type of attitude. The same goes for others as well. Like the same goes for relationships, whether it's being a good boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, like family member. If you want to show up for people, it's very simple. Just make promises and keep them using the same rules. You don't have to overpromise and then underdeliver or underpromise and overdeliver. Just make a commitment and keep it. But the key is to make sure that those commitments and those promises you're making are actually things that you want to do. Like it's like you want to show up for your partner or your friend in that way. If you feel like you're only making those promises or commitments to prove something or to prove yourself, that may chip away at you. So again, self-awareness is very important in this type of scenario, right? You don't want to be like overextending yourself if internally you don't actually want to be making that promise in the first place. Okay, next point, and this is a great one. This one, we all know, we all love it. Get the hell out of your comfort zone. Jump into the deep end. Just go for it. Pull the trigger. When you do things like this, like when you just jump into the deep end, it kind of makes you feel limitless. And I know that because I've had experiences in my life where I've done some crazy shit, like so far out of my comfort zone, and I'm like, whoa, that gave me this newfound confidence, sense of self. Like I feel like I can take on the whole world now. But even when it comes to this stuff, you can start small here as well. If you don't want to start in the deep end, that's okay. You can start in the shallow end. You can use your floaties and like learn to swim slowly and make your way to the deep end. That's okay too. But don't just like stick your feet in the water and stand there for 20 minutes. and not do anything. I don't know where this analogy is going, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about here. There's not much else to say about this. I just think when you push yourself out of your comfort zone, like push, it is the quickest and most surefire way to build confidence. However, you can nudge yourself a little bit if you're not comfortable with the big push. Just nudge yourself a little bit. Do a little bit every day. I knew someone who in university was very shy, maybe like socially anxious, and she would just like make conversation with like the bus drivers, you know, or like the cashiers at a grocery store, because that was a very like low stakes scenario, and it was pushing her just a little bit out of her comfort zone, right? She wasn't going on a stage and like performing in front of everyone, because maybe she would have freaked out doing that. Maybe that was a bit too much for her. But she kind of started with that, like little things, and then you slowly work your way up the ranks. The fifth point on my list is you have to learn how to forgive yourself and accept yourself. And I actually kind of touched on this with the whole like not proving yourself thing, but learning self-forgiveness and self-acceptance is very important when it comes to cultivating that inner confidence. There are so many versions of me that have existed that I look back on and it makes me cringe, okay? It makes me literally cringe. And actually the feeling is sometimes a lot deeper than just cringy. Sometimes the feeling is shame. Sometimes I look back at a version of myself and I feel genuinely ashamed that that's who I was and that's what I did. I think I'm going to do an entire episode just on this because there's so much to unpack here. If you don't know how to forgive yourself and accept yourself for everything that you are, you won't be able to face the world. If you can't face yourself in the mirror, you won't be able to face the world. Okay? And that's why self-forgiveness and self-acceptance is so important. Understanding that there are versions of you that existed and that don't exist anymore, thankfully, right? But also understanding that maybe there's a future version of you that's going to cringe at who you are today. You never know, right? So it's all about learning how to forgive those versions of ourselves that we're not the most proud of. Showing them some love and acceptance. Again, I will do a whole episode on how to go about doing this, but this is very important when it comes to that inner confidence. The other thing is, if you relate to the idea of feeling ashamed at a past version of yourself, that shame, it's not a good feeling to carry around, but it does tell you one thing. It tells you that you're a different person today. Like if I feel ashamed about something, it means that that's not true to who I am. At least right now in this moment, it's not true to who I really am. And now that I know better, I can continue to be better. That will be a game changer for your confidence. Because if you can face yourself in the mirror, the good, the bad, the ugly, all the versions, all the shadows, then you will be able to confidently face the world. And it takes away this feeling of needing to prove something. You know yourself and you accept yourself. And you can walk through this world with your head held high. Last point on my list, make decisions, make mistakes, repeat. That's it. That's the whole point. Be decisive. Indecision, I think, is a result of having a lack of self-trust because you don't trust yourself to make a decision. And that just shows you don't have inner confidence. The thing is, to build that self-trust, you gotta make decisions and learn from those decisions. If you fall flat on your face, that's okay. You just have more data now on what to do next time and what to do better next time. And the more decisions that you make and the more that you fall and fail and get up and make another decision, the better decisions you will continue to make, right? But if you're indecisive, you won't ever get to a position of even making good decisions because you won't even be making any decision in the first place. So that's all I have to say about that. Just make decisions, make mistakes, repeat. This is how you build self-trust. All right, now we're gonna move on to the external confidence, which is kind of more fun to talk about. I really want to stress here that the internal stuff is very, very important. It is arguably more important because you have to build that person from within before you can create the outward extension. But both are always a work in progress. Okay, so external confidence. First things first, your look. Learn how to master it. Put energy and effort into your outward appearance. Figure out your unique style, what you feel the best in, what clothes you feel the best in, what nail shape you feel the best in. And look, guys, I don't even have my nails done today, but I'm still feeling myself, okay? So I want to be very clear that this external confidence, it doesn't make or break who you are. And there actually is a version of myself, guys, that used to feel extremely, extremely insecure when she didn't have her nails done. Like, I rooted almost 100% of my confidence in my nails, which is so crazy to say because I couldn't care less right now. I still love doing my nails. It's just not making or breaking me. Sorry, I digress. Either way, learning what makes you feel good, because there is truth in like look good, feel good. Whether it's hair, makeup, wardrobe, nails, scent, come on, look good, feel good, smell good. Like that's just what it is. Figure out your unique style and screw the trends. That is my first piece of advice, because being on trend is great, but sometimes it's not flattering to you. Like there are certain clothing items that just don't flatter me, but might be on trend. And I would rather just wear things that make me feel good. And here's the other thing, and this is why I even brought up the nails thing, okay, about me feeling confident, like despite not having my nails done, because this is a very fine line to walk on. If you can't leave the house with a full face of makeup, then we might need to reassess this. You should still be able to hold your head up high and feel good in your body and feel good in your natural state as well. But ultimately, it's okay to glam up and to put effort into yourself. Actually, it's more than okay. It's what you should do, because like I mentioned at the beginning, it just shows that you're willing to put energy and put time and put effort into yourself. And I also want to mention something very quickly. People might say, but Iman, like, I don't want to wear makeup. Like I'm a clean skincare girly. I only wear clean products. I don't want to wear perfume because of like the chemicals in them and all this stuff. And there's a lot of people that really, really prefer to carry themselves in a much more natural way, okay? And to that, I will say that is all good and fine. Don't get me wrong. That's a preference, and that's a wonderful preference to have. But it shouldn't take away from your ability to look good. To be honest, it shouldn't. And what I mean by that, let me just clarify what I mean real quick. Here is an example. I knew someone who was very much the natural girl, okay? Her skincare was all clean products, like natural products, okay? Her makeup was always very light. Her clothes were very affordable. She wasn't the type who would ever like get Botox or do anything like that. She very much valued being natural in that sense. And yet she always looked good. It's because she knew her style. It's because she cared about her fitness. She had a really good posture and she would carry herself with so much elegance. Her hair, her light makeup, it always looked good. She still knew how to carry herself. You know, if you don't want to wear a full face of makeup, you don't have to. If you don't want to be using medical grade ingredients, you don't have to. You can still put energy and effort into yourself in a way that will make you look good. In terms of style, there's also like ways to look good in sweatpants, so play around with that. For me personally, like I like to get cute, comfy clothes, you know? So I'm like, even when I'm comfortable, like I still look cute. Let's just be so for real. Taking care of your body, moving your body, eating clean, treating your body how it deserves to be treated is what will give you the ultimate glow up. So like style is great, but health is more important. When you take care of your health, your clothes fit better, your skin clears up, your energy goes up, and ultimately less effort will actually be needed. And by the way, now that I'm saying this, I'm remembering, like, the thing is that the girl that I knew who was like a full natural queen, she was very invested in her health. Like, she was going to the gym every day, you know, moving her body every single day. She would go on hikes. She started doing calisthenics. Like, there were so many things that she was always trying and doing, and like she had this like fitness mentality ingrained in her as a child because her parents were very passionate about health and fitness as well, right? So needless to say, that's probably why it was way more effortless for her to look good, right? And that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, but I'm just keeping it real. Like, take care of yourself. Fitness is one thing, what you put in your body, what you're eating, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep. Literally, it's called beauty sleep for a reason. These things that are good for our health literally help us glow on the inside out, okay? So I highly recommend. Before I move on to the next thing, the last thing I want to mention about looks is that, and this is going to sound so opposing to everything that I'm just saying right now, but your looks are actually the least interesting interesting thing about you, okay? And when I heard that, it changed everything, because you realize that as much as you're going to put energy and effort into your looks, everything else matters too. And that kind of brings me to my next point, which is your brain, okay? This one's kind of internal and external in my opinion. But I feel like this is, like, I put it in the external side because I feel like it's something that you build externally. And what I mean by your brain is able to contribute meaningfully to any sort of conversation. For example, if you don't understand politics, you don't understand economics, you don't understand AI, learn about those things. Why not? And then you can be part of these bigger conversations. And that actually builds a lot of confidence, to be honest. I'm not saying that you have to be the most well-versed, intellectual, knowledgeable person in the room. Part of being confident is also being okay with not knowing things and being okay with asking questions. There's nothing that makes a person seem more insecure than when they pretend to know something and it's really obvious that they don't. Right? I love it when someone doesn't understand or doesn't know something and they just ask directly, oh, what is that? What does that mean? And I've been guilty of that too. Don't get me wrong. I've been guilty of like just nodding along and pretending like I know something, but I'm like, I just robbed myself of a learning opportunity there too, you know? So you might as well just ask questions, build your knowledge, build your intellect. There are so many free resources around us. Keep your mind sharp, stay relevant, and any topic in general that you want to know more about or even just enough about for your own sake, explore it. That will build your confidence. Being able to contribute meaningfully to a conversation or adding value to conversation, it builds confidence. The key here, again, is not to pressure yourself, but to do this out of just desire. The reason I even have this point on my list is because I've been in conversations that I don't know how to add to, right? And so then I want to learn more. And the next time that it comes up, I can say something that's valuable and I feel good and I feel like it's a fun conversation. This is not like to pressure myself. It's just because I want to add more value. Loving and accepting who you are right now, it doesn't mean that you can't grow and transform and learn more and evolve and even change in some ways, so even if it seems superficial or whatever, which kind of leads me to my next point, which is somewhat opposing. Like, yes, we can learn, grow, and evolve 100%, but I think if you also double down and lean into who you already are and your natural skill set and what you're naturally drawn to, your confidence will like fly through the roof, okay? If you're a good dancer, naturally, like you're just born with some rhythm in your hips, join a freaking dance class. Because that's where you're gonna shine and then you're gonna have fun doing it. Usually when we have these natural skill sets and abilities, it's things that we love. I don't know, like if you're a good swimmer, go do lanes in the pool. It's attractive also to other people to see you like in your own spotlight, in your right. It's actually very attractive. You become an expert in a field that you didn't even have to study for, barely. If you guys have any natural skill sets, natural abilities, it could be anything. Put energy into that, put effort into that. That's also your soul. It's like what you came here with, right? You might as well try to develop those things because you will soar in those areas and it will build your confidence like crazy. And who knows, it might even open up some crazy opportunities for you. Okay, so my next point on this list, this is actually something I heard in an interview. It's not my original thought, but it was in a Jay Shetty podcast. I don't remember who the guest was, unfortunately. I really don't. But she had said, competence is confidence. So this is basic competence, basic life skills. Being a functional adult, build your competence if you want to be confident. Very, very, very simple. It's really hard to have that sense of confidence if you can't do basic things. Look, I took forever to get my driver's license. Honestly, I did. But I will say that my confidence went skyrocketing once I felt comfortable just driving around on the highway or whatever. Also, before I got my license, I was so not proud of the fact that I didn't have it. Like, I hated being, you know, at a big age and being like, oh my God, yeah, I don't have my license yet. It was like, why not? Again, not to shame myself. And if you're listening to this and you don't have your license, that's okay. And if it doesn't bother you, that's fine. But it bothered me, right? And when those things bother you, it's usually telling you something. These are things that are easy to obtain and honestly will build your confidence in life. Just being a functional adult. Okay, number 5, body language and self-talk. This is how you present to the world and how you talk to yourself. If you're sitting like this, I know I'm hunched over a lot too in this chair and with this mic, but If you're always hunching, you actually seem less confident. And I can also say that, like, I see people who you can tell that they're not confident because of their body language. They don't look you in the eye when they're talking. This is something I used to struggle with, actually, was eye contact. Or maybe they kind of just like crouch over like this. It's like they don't want to stand tall. Like, you can reverse engineer it, right? Like, maybe you're not the most confident person, but stand up tall, sit up straight, look someone in the eye, and it'll give you some of your power back too. And again, self-talk. I've talked about this in other episodes numerous times. The way we talk about ourselves is so important. Look, I like dark humor as much as the next girl, but not when it's self-deprecating. Have you ever been in a group and there's like one person who's making the most self-deprecating jokes at their own expense, that to the point where it's like uncomfortable to like laugh at? It's like, are you okay, sir? Like, is everything okay? You know, and I think there's a version of me that actually used to do this too. I'm not sure. But it's really just like a mask that you put on because you're so insecure. So you make jokes at your own expense and you try to make people laugh, but it kind of creates discomfort and it's becomes a bit obvious that you don't feel the most secure within yourself. It doesn't give off this energy or this vibe of like being self-assured. The very last point that I have on my list is to cultivate the living shit out of your environment. And that includes, your environment is everything that you consume. Social media, friends, the home that you live in. If you're on social media, unfollow the things that don't uplift you and make sure you really curate the type of feed that you're consuming. Friends, ditch the ones that don't believe in you, that aren't inspiring you, or who put you down, or who you don't trust. Leave them behind and keep the ones that you really do trust and that you really do love and that do inspire and that do believe in you. And then even your just physical environment, your home, your bedroom, whatever it is, treat it with the respect it deserves and with the respect that you deserve, right? At the end of the day, like, your space is actually a reflection of your mind. So if everything's cluttered, it's probably because internally you feel disorganized and like chaotic. And again, we can reverse engineer and just clean the room and it will clear your headspace a little bit too. If a guest is coming to your house, and I've been guilty of this too, all of a sudden now you're running around, cleaning everything, putting things away, making sure it looks good so that the guest can feel comfortable and good in your clean house. Why do you not just do that for yourself? Treat your house the way it deserves to be treated, because your house is a reflection and an extension of you. Again, environment, right? Very important. We're all on this journey and there's always going to be new things to learn. Like I said, I still have ways to go. These are things that I've learned along my journey, but I still find myself in positions that I've never been in before and that I'm just like, what do I do here? Like, I don't have a rule in my playbook for this one. And when you find yourselves in those scenarios, again, use your feelings as your guide and as your compass. And that's what will help you the next time around in approaching all of those situations. But hopefully these tips and tricks kind of gave you something to work with moving forward. Just remember, guys, you are always in control more than you think you are, and everything you do is a choice. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm gonna go eat some food now because your girl is starving. And let me know if there's anything else that you guys do that builds your confidence. Leave a comment below, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.